Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Last Sunday, I did a paper 3 analysis, and I think there were a lot of quite good feedbacks from there. All right, so I hope you all did quite an okay job in your vitamin C experiment. Okay, so what we're going to do today would be a percubaan analysis. And guys, I tell you, I spent about 6.5 to 7 hours typing out whatever came out for most of the states, including SBP and MRSM for biology percubaan. So let me teach you how to use it. But before that, just one thing to share with you, because some students texted me or DM me, sir, are we going to do the SPM analysis? Now, I'll be doing the SPM analysis, but in my own private class because I need about 4.5 hours. Yeah, there won't be any of that in YouTube because of the time constraint. I can't do a double session on that. All right, so guys, if you're really keen to get to know the analysis, as well as what is important topically, you can consider joining this class of mine. You can consider joining this class of mine, whereby it'll be on a Friday. I think you have a math paper on Thursday. I'll show you in a moment. So what this class aims to do for you guys is that sir, I finished my math. Next week is my bio. I find it's a bit hard to kickstart my engine. Yeah. So this is more to a program whereby I help you to warm up the engine so that you can get going. So on Friday, there'll be 2 sessions, session 1, session 2. Session 1, 2.5 hours. I'll be going through Form 4 topically what is important. For instance, I'll tell you, Chapter 1, there's nothing to study as long as you know all the 3 cabinets, biosafety cabinet, chemical film, all right. And then you know your scientific investigation, the steps, you are quite safe. You are quite safe. Okay. Then chapter 2, what do we focus on? For all the topics, but of course, for those processes which are slightly of more importance, I'll revise 1 round. Let's say for your year, I think urine formation got chance. I think urine formation got chance. So I'll revise 1 round. Guys, just 1 round because I need to cover a lot. All right. I don't really think we have time for even 2 rounds of revision. Just 1 round. Or urine formation consists of 3 processes. Okay, at the start, blood entering glomerulus is rich in waste substances, all the way until the very end collecting duct. So that's what I can do for you guys. So the idea is this, you know. It is for students who wish to have a clear head on what is important topically, guys, because by the time you finish your math, that's when the real SPM starts. Because all your 3 science subjects are at the back. Hold on, let me double check. So, of course, admits is, MS is after that also. So after, yeah. So to me, guys, I took SPM before as well. So BMBI, pendidikan moral ataupun Islam sejarah is more to just to get you warmed up for the tougher papers lah. So guys, after the 10th, you will start to feel a little bit more stressed than the earlier subjects because you're dealing with physics. 1 day later, bio, then chemistry and admits. But on a positive note, you'll have a lot of time. Guys, your batch have a lot of time compared to my time. Yeah, within the week back then, my SPM, we had to clear bio, physics, and chemistry within the same week. And it's 1 subject after the other. I still remember very well. So on that note, you should capitalize on the time you have to make sure you maximize your marks. So guys, the session will be here on the 11th. Now, this kind of program doesn't suit everyone. Sir, I want to just be by myself. Okay, this sounds very sad. Huh? I just want to be by myself for the whole SPM. I don't want any programs, anyone. So this is not for you. This program is for students whereby they need a little bit of push, a very good idea of how to study or how to do last minute revision. This program is for you. Guys, this program is for you. Now, if you're really keen, please contact my staff. If you're really keen, 013, just to make sure the number is right, 2879118, or you can contact, I mean, if you want to message in Mandarin, you can message my other staff, 9399 150. Okay, guys. So if you're keen to join, if not, it's okay, because this is an additional help. It's just one class. Okay, guys. Let's get started on our trial paper session. Okay. So before we start, please print this handout from the Google Classroom. I'll insert it in the link below. So guys, I spent 6.5 to 7 hours typing this out. Okay, question 1 to question 11. And now, to be fair to my existing students who I taught in my usual class, I'll just be giving you guys a rough idea of how you can make use of this analysis. Okay, a student actually asked me, sir, which trial paper should I focus on? I think that with the method that I'm going to teach you today, you can actually tackle all the papers. And when there's really a huge need, then only you refer back to that particular state. Okay. Okay, guys, let's start up. So what we're going to do today, number one, is to get to know how to use this analysis. Guys, how to use this analysis. Okay. Number two, I'll roughly point out a few pointers for you here and there to show you what is commonly asked. And finally, how to carry out active revision. Okay, how to carry active revision. So guys, I need just one highlighter will do. Okay, can you just take out one highlighter and a red pen? Okay, let's start. So I have done this with my own students. Okay, I've done this with my own students, the few hundred of them. So what you should be doing is this. The highlighter and the red pen. Okay, the highlighter is to highlight the things that you should take note. The red pen is to draw stars. Draw stars means how important is that particular question. Okay, so we'll be doing that for SBP and MRSM. MRSM meaning Mara. Then the rest, guys, you can do it yourself. Okay. Okay, now let's start. I'll be looking at it this way. So 2 by 2. 2 by 2. Okay, I'm going to use yellow color. I'm going to use yellow color. Okay, so if you have done your SBP question, you would know that they were asking about nitrogen. They were asking about nitrogen. I think there's nothing much to learn there. Okay, but to maximize your revision, to maximize the productivity of your revision, you can actually ask yourself, guys, can you give examples of the macronutrients? Can you give examples of the macronutrient? How I teach my students is this, perempuan sains Korea memang nak Sorry, memang nak, don't need the A. Perempuan Sains Korea memang nak cash. Or cantik, I say cantik, but they say cash lah. Perempuan Sains Korea. Sorry to all the Korean science girls. It's just a joke, guys. Okay, now, so macronutrient, phosphorus, sulfur, carbon, potassium, magnesium, nitrogen, and also calcium. Okay, so guys, you can do active revision this way. You can do active revision this way. Okay, now use your highlighter, highlight consequences of lower red blood cell number on a person's health. Now, this one I think is string. It's not uncommon question to most of you. I'm sure your teacher would have taught you anything to do with red blood cell, anything to do with transport of oxygen that is not efficient. Red blood cell got problem, anemia, thalassemia. The symptoms are the same. The person will feel fatigue, okay, lack oxygen, and may lead to shorter lifespan. The answers are standard. Okay, guys, so draw 2 stars for this. Draw 2 stars for this. This is important. I normally give a 1 to 3 stars. 3 stars being the most important. Okay. Now next, use your highlighter. Highlight why does a plant wilt when placed in mangrove soil. Okay, but quite common as well. Quite common as well. Oh, outside the soil is hypertonic. The root hypo. So air bergerak, water move, hypo to hyper. Water move out. That's when the plant wilt. But guys, when it comes to this question, I only want to highlight one common error that students often make. The word flaccid and wilt, you have to be very careful. When we talk about plant cells, you must use the word flaccid or plasmolyze. Okay, telah mengalami plasmolysis. But if you talk about the plant, then only you use the word wilt, layu. Because for the past 6-7 years, whenever this type of question comes out, students tend to write plant become flaccid. Plant cells will wilt. Salah. So please take note. Please take note. Okay, so turgid is used for plant cells as well. Turgid is used for plant cells as well. Okay, next, highlight this based on the diagram. Whenever they give you a diagram, you have to explain based on that diagram. For instance, they love to show log and key hypothesis. They show you an enzyme, then finally form the enzyme substrate complex to save time. Then finally they show you the enzyme and then the products. So let's say they ask you the characteristics of enzyme based on this diagram. Can you say that, oh, in this reaction here, the enzymes are sensitive to temperature? No. Okay. The enzymes are sensitive to temperature? No, because I can't see any sign of temperature. There are no signs of temperature. They are sensitive to pH. Tak boleh juga. Okay, tak ada pH langsung di sini. What can you say? Oh, enzymes are not destroyed at the end of the reaction. It is not a reversible process based on the arrows. Okay, so guys, based on the diagram, when you see these 4 words, they are trying to trick you. So be extra careful. Okay, next, highlight anaerobic, aerobic respiration and draw 3 stars. Now, one question that for the past 2 classes I got from my students, So can we use this to predict SPM? No. The answer is no. You cannot exactly use trial papers to predict SPM. But you can use trial papers to strengthen your core, your foundation in this subject. Okay? And what I'm trying to tell you is, throughout this analysis, you will find that they like to ask a few things, which include aerobic respiration, anaerobic, which means fermentation. Okay, fermentation of ethanol, fermentation of lactic acid. They love to ask phototropism, geotropism. Okay. Okay, so they love to ask these two, and where's that one more? Yeah, respiratory system. Respiratory system. Okay. So for most of the state papers, they did ask most of these three things. Okay. Now, okay, coming back to this part. So please make sure you're very familiar with anaerobic, aerobic, meaning Form 4, Bab 7, Bab 8, make sure you're very clear. Because, guys, I think out of all the state papers, including SBP, MRSM, it came out in 90% of the papers. So I think there's a slight chance that it can come out in SPM. Maybe one structure, probably one structure. Okay, and one more thing you realize is this Form 4, Chapter 14. Okay, Form 4, Chapter 14. Locomotion and support. Locomotion and support. When it comes out, there are many components. Okay, how do they like to ask you this topic? Form 4, Bab 14. They normally would start by asking you something to do with the skeleton, skeletal system, cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacrum, coccyx. Next, diseases. For example, osteoporosis. Then they'll ask something to do with locomotion. Explain locomotion of earthworm. Explain locomotion of grasshopper, human. So for the past 10 years, whenever this topic comes out, it comes out in the form of structured question. I think it came out 3 times already. So did they ask before any essay for the past 10 years? No. Okay, but doesn't mean it won't. Okay. Okay, next. This one nothing much. Yeah, K-BUT, guys. This is a K-BUT. You can highlight this. What happens when plasma membrane have less cholesterol? K-BUT. Now, I've been stressing to students a lot. Whenever they ask K-BUT, most of the time, they'll tell you something cannot happen. Or tak ada organelle tersebut dalam sesuatu cell. Don't have that organelle in that one particular cell. So, guys, what is the function of cholesterol? Cholesterol function is to stabilize the plasma membrane, making it more flexible and also dynamic. So generally, the answer would be plasma membrane will be less stable, less flexible, less dynamic. Ini cara menjawab soalan K-BUT. Okay. Okay, moving on. Synapse. Yeah, synapse. Okay, highlight this. Effect of painkiller. Okay, effect of painkiller. Guys, right, K-BUT. All right. Now, on the left-hand side, whenever I'll stick to blue, because I'm using blue here. So guys, this one you can go through yourself. If you're uncertain, you can just refer to the answer scheme, because I'm giving you a guideline of how to go about this whole analysis. Now, whenever it concerns inheritance, pewarisan, guys, you must make sure you try the question. There's nothing to read. You need to practice more than what you read in Form 5, Chapter 11. Okay. Whenever you see the word uncontrolled and then spread, what is this disease about? Definitely cancer. And draw 2 stars for this bottom one here. Lymphatic, differences between lymph capillary, blood capillary. Okay, guys, I managed to get the past year paper for SPM 2020. Therefore, during our session on March 11, you will get an analysis of SPM biology from 2014 all the way to 2020. Guys, not 2021, that one is your SPM. One of the students, they were asking me, so what about 2021? I said, I'll give you after, what's the date of bio? I'll give you after that. Confirm 100% kena. So, yeah, I'll be giving you the analysis of even 2020. Why is it important? Because from experience, whatever came out the previous year, there's a 90% chance it won't come out the following year. Let's say whatever came out last year, 2020, for it to come out 2021, it will only be, I mean, the things that can come out, meaning repeated, is only less than 10%. Even repeat also, there's a way that they can ask. Meaning, for example, structure become assay or assay becomes structure. Okay. Okay, next. Please highlight. Oh yeah, and what I'm trying to say is, I think, let me double check. SPM 2020. SPM 2020. Lymphatic system, they did not ask. They only asked a bit to do with interstitial fluid. Only a bit to do with interstitial fluid. Okay. Next, highlight antibody action. Make sure you revise all the 5 types. And guys, because it's a period whereby we are dealing with the pandemic. Okay, so my advice is that you get to know all these questions very well. Meaning immunity, vaccination, active immunity, why need second booster. So all the questions that have something to do with COVID-19 or whatever I mentioned, make sure you give it a try. Because why? Last year I checked, they didn't ask anything to do with COVID-19. It's high time already. Let me triple check. Yeah, don't have. Last year's paper don't have. Last year's paper don't have. Okay. As I mentioned, phototropism, geotropism. Okay, highlight this. Use your highlighter to highlight this. How Down syndrome occurs. This one 1 star. This one 1 star. Guys, can you explain the adaptation of spongy tissue? Can you explain the adaptation of spongy tissue? Also, they are loosely arranged. Therefore, there are air spaces for diffusion of carbon dioxide and oxygen. Okay, done. You're ready. Okay, please take note of photosynthesis as well. Because photosynthesis from SPM 2005 and 6 onwards, they were asking a lot. Then for the past 5 years, for the past 5 years or 6 years, they didn't ask. If you don't believe, you can check. Yeah, I have the SPM analysis also. For the past, I think 5 years, they didn't ask any question to do with photosynthesis, meaning the process itself, light dependent and light independent reaction. Why? Sebab sudah tanya banyak kali dah. If they ulang the same question again and again, then the SPM standard will drop. But guys, because in KSSM, they added some, if you follow my class, you know lah, they added some Form 6 stuff, A-level stuff. So it's a brand new process now, meaning there are more things that they can ask. So I think to me, this is 2 to 3 stars lah. This is 2 to 3 stars. A few things lah, guys, I'll tell you during that class, during the March class. Photosynthesis, opening, closing of stoma. What else? I'll list it out for you all. So when we go through the March class, you see, guys, KSSM is a new, it's a new set of syllabus whereby they added new stuff. So you cannot just depend on analysis alone. So there are 3 things that we have to look at. Number 1, we have to, of course, we have to look at what can come out. Okay, but also number 2, we have to look at what are the new subtopics. What are the new subtopics? For instance, there are so many. I think, let me think. So many. I just pick out one. Let's say, what happens to stoma? Form 5 Bab 1. What happens to stoma when there is inadequate water? Guys, based on your syllabus, you have to bring in abscisic acid. So in that class, I'll tell you lah, please take note, Form 5 Bab 1, they can ask you this as a new subtopic. Means what? New question. Never seen before in SPM. Or Form 5 Bab 2. That's every topic got a bit. Form 5 Bab 2. NADPH in photosynthesis. Something new. So you won't see it for the past 30 years of SPM. You won't see it. Okay, one last example. Bab 6. Double fertilization, you are familiar. Your seniors from last year, 2 years ago, many years ago, all are familiar. But the formation of seed after fertilization, they added a lot of new points from Form 6 A levels. So this one have to take note. So guys, by doing this analysis, what have a high chance to come out? What is new in your KSSM syllabus? I think it's very complete. The whole package is very complete. Okay, guys. Now, little bit more. Yeah, this is good. Okay, guys. Use your highlighter. Please highlight. Compare effects of chemical and natural fertilizers. Advantage of natural fertilizers. I think this was very well asked. Let's refer to the question if you haven't done yet. This was very well asked. And talking about new subtopics, this is sort of a new topic in KSSM. Form 5 Bab 13, guys, draw 3 stars. In fact, I think this whole question you have to be very familiar. Explain genetic engineering. How is the insulin gene inserted? The whole process, let's say 6 months. Bolehkah Anda huraikan bagaimanakah gene insulin dimasukkan? Okay, dimasukkan ke dalam plasmid dan dihasilkan secara besar-besaran. Okay. Okay, next. Question 9 and 10 are essays. And that is why I took a lot of time to type, because guys, I included the marks as well. How you can use this to your advantage is, okay, you test yourself. Can I explain? Naming. Okay, when you see the word name, means from the diagram they ask you to name. So I'm giving you the answer straight. They expect you to name biennial plant, perennial plant. Okay, they show two plants up. Anyway, you can use this to your advantage whereby you can ask yourself, can I explain biennial plant? Oh, sir, life cycle of 2 years. Perennial plant, many years. Can you explain secondary growth? First point, gegelang cambium dihasilkan. A cambium ring is formed. The vascular cambium divide out to form secondary phloem, divide in secondary xylem. Primary phloem push out, primary xylem push in. If you can complete the thing, means you're ready. Explain 4 stages of growth curve. Okay, explain 4 stages of growth curve. All right. So questions like this, probably you have to refer to the question. If you feel you want to, okay, so I'm very clear with this, then it's okay lah, then it's okay. All right, then on the right-hand side, explain pollination. What is pollination? Transfer of pollen grain to stigma. Okay, this is the one I was talking about. This is a new question. This is considered a new question because they can ask up to 8 marks. It's possible based on the new syllabus. The old one cannot, the old one 2, 3 marks only, but new one can. The reason why we cannot use trial papers as exact indicators to SPM, now, last time maybe still can, now cannot because of all these new subtopics. Because guys, if you have done enough trial papers, if you follow my scheme class, my intensive class, whereby we do trial papers from 2015 all the way to 2020, you'll find that this 2021, quite a lot are taken from old trial papers. Quite a lot are taken from old trial papers. So that's why we have to really consider new subtopics. Okay, Martino copy, yeah. Martino copy, draw 1 star. Okay. And guys, this is one of the things I'm roughly expecting for your year as well, because I think last year didn't come out. Yeah, last year didn't come out. Last year didn't come out. Okay. Form 4 part 14, I told you, many small parts. They can ask you joint, they can ask you muscle, they can ask you tendon, ligament, they can ask you locomotion, they can ask you the bones. Okay, but this is not such a good question. This one can leave it. Okay, guys, and one last question here. Anything again to do with COVID-19, vaccination, immunity, make sure you know very well, because last year didn't ask. High time, it's high time. All right, Menu came out last year, so they won't ask. Menu came out last year. Menu came out many times. If you have my essay book, you know. Okay, so trust me, guys, if you know how, no point for you to know one trial paper very well. No point. If you know how to answer at least 80% of the questions here, I believe you are ready for SPM. Bio, guys. I don't teach other subjects, only bio. I dare not say for other subjects. Let's say I simply take one. Oh yeah, talking about new. I was stressing this a lot in my last 2 classes, with my own private students. New subtopics. Example, 6 kingdom system. All the states are only one small question on the 6 kingdom system. Guys, and sorry, I'm stressing a lot on this. Why new subtopics? If you realize, guys, if you have done all the state papers, I'm not sure how many of you realize. Guys, because I've seen it already, the question and answer, all of it. If not, how am I to type this? Because when I type this, if student ask me in class also, I must know how to explain what. So I've gone through all the papers, question and answer. if you realize they rarely ask anything from Form 5 chapter, they rarely ask anything, tak tanya banyak soalan daripada bab apa? Daripada bab 8 sampai bab 12 variation. In fact, 13, I will put all the way to 13. Maybe a little bit 13, little bit 13, little bit variation. Where little bit variation, I can tell you here. Variation, there's only one. Now here. There's only one variation question. I mean variation, subtopic variation. Okay. So they rarely ask anything from Form 5, Chapter 8 to 13. Yeah, in my humble opinion lah. Okay, so yeah. So okay, one last time, how do you make use of this analysis? Ask yourself whether you can answer most of the question. If you can answer 80%, you're fine. Guys, don't expect 100%. Don't expect 100%. Yeah. Can you explain, for example, let's say I just simply take one. Can you explain, here's secondary growth done here. Can you explain photosynthesis? Light dependent, light independent. Light dependent occur in granum, sunlight absorb, electron excited escape, electron move down, electron carrier. Okay, if you can explain all the way up to the end, then it's okay lah. Can you explain, let's say, I take another one, opening, closing of stomata based on, let's say, potassium ion accumulation theory. During the day, potassium ion actively enter gut cells, water potential lowered, outside water potential higher, water diffused in by osmosis. Gut cell become turgid, then stoma will open. Revision done. Okay, can you explain, let's say, processes mostly at the bottom. Can you explain, let's say, double fertilization, stigma transferred, pollen grain transferred to the stigma, sucrose solution form pollen tube form, tube nucleus enter, generative nucleus divide by mitosis, move down to embryo site, finally form the few things. Okay. So guys, if you can answer 80% of this, you should be very fine. Okay. Now, ultimately, if you are studying for SPM Bio, you have to know what is important. I believe this is a must because you have 28 topics. Any one of you who just read reference book, you know it's impossible to cover everything. You must know what is important. This is where I come in to help you out a bit lah, guys, a bit lah. Then you have to know how to revise. Actually, this is the method. This is the method. After you have read everything, you have done so many things, guys, are you able to answer most of the questions from state paper? Sir, can, no problem. Good. Then next will be SPM. Are you able to answer most of the questions from SPM for the past 6-7 years? Sir, can. Yeah. And of course, after knowing what is important, you know how to revise, active revision, tanya jawab, tanya jawab, tanya jawab. Then one last round before your SPM, you have to just browse through everything. You have to just browse through everything. Okay. Okay, guys, I think that's about it for today. Again, sorry, this is a this is very impromptu lah. This session, I just decided to record just like that. So I hope this helps you out, guys, and I wish you the best of luck. Yeah, SPM 2021 candidates. Okay. Yeah. Most importantly, don't go out so much. So why suddenly don't go out so much? Takut kena, you know lah. Takut kena COVID then tak berbaloi langsung lah. You have to be quarantined, this and that. So just stay at home, guys. Keep yourself and all your other classmates safe. Okay, guys, take care. Cheers.